We build it all in-house. We buy the fittings, of course, and the bolts, but we kind of found a need to be able to prime the oil system without removing the belt or using the engine starter, because we've been in situations where we run the battery down trying to prime up the oil system, or starter goes out and you can't make the hook or whatever. So this is just one more thing to a possibility of another failure in another system. So of course, the high spring pressure applications of high RPM turbocharged engines and blown engines, you need to have oil ready at the system before you just start it up. So we come up with this deal here. It's a gear type pump with it's heavy duty, really lightweight because it's made out of mostly aluminum. We have a flange that bolts to or welds to the oil pan. I guess we weld around the outside of here, and it kind of just sucks right out of the oil pan. Drill a hole through here into your oil pan, and this bolts to it so you can remove it. This will get threaded in here so you can plug it off if there happens to be a pump failure, you take it apart or whatever. But really nice and compact on the side of the oil pan like this, and a simple drill driver deal to run this, because you want to run a drill instead of an impact. We just kind of made the hex to make it a little more durable. But this thing turns, and with a Milwaukee battery drill, we can pump between 80 and 100 pounds of oil pressure up in a matter of seconds or whatever, to get the whole complete oil system primed up. You can buy this on our web store at gms-parts.com. You can call us. We can ask you about help you with different applications about how to mount it. But this is something that can be used for about anything, not just tractor pulling applications. So Hemis and dirt cars, and even the import car guys next door are using them for some things. So different applications. Just another product we thought we'd help solve a little or have a little solution for. All right, we're going to show you how the oil primer pump that we developed is put into action here. We've been using them on the Galot tractors for about a year and a half now. So typically we would heat the oil up and get it to a warmer temperature before we would start cranking on, but it still shows you the effect of what it does. So just a Milwaukee drill, a good battery. We hook it on here, and we usually have somebody watching the computer so we can see when it does get oil pressure, and we kind of just let it run for 30, 45 seconds and see there. But this thing crank and crank. And right now it's probably generating 90 to 100 pounds of oil pressure. And you kind of see up here with the valve cover disconnected with getting oil up to the foot drive and the rocker arm. So it's drawing oil. We've got this one here. It's got the flange that's welded to the oil pan and the pump bolted to that. So it draws oil right out of the pan and then puts it through the filter. So if you get any debris in the oil and out of the pan, it will go through the filter first. So you're getting all the same oil through the same systems that would through the pump. We just do this every time that we put an engine together. Actually, every time we go to start it. So if it's the first time for the day, we'll prime the oil system up, and it's ready to go. So if you got any questions, give us a call and we'll sure help you out.
Welcome everybody to the Let's Grow Pulling podcast. My name is Jason Schultz. We've got Brent Payne with us, owner of GMS. Will introduce himself. Larry, who are you and what are you doing on our podcast?
My name is Larry, and I'm just here. What am I doing on the podcast? Well, I've got this guy that I didn't used to think much of, and now he's a good friend. His name's Jason somebody. Anyway, he asked me to be on every Monday night, and as you can tell, I'm still in my work clothes. It's been a pretty heavy flow here at the water plant. I work at a different water treatment plant than I did a while back, but it's the same kind of job. It's just a lot of flow. And today, everybody seemed to flush at once on the internet, and it was a lot of flow today is all I can say.
Yeah, we'll come back to your new job here after we talk with Brent a little bit. But congratulations on your new position. Mike, introduce yourself. Tell about you a little bit.
Sure. What's going on, guys? I'm Michael Idle, diehard, lifelong tractor pulling fan, enthusiast. I'm one of those guys that just tried to make enough noise on social media and did enough traveling and always wanted to get involved in pulling promotion, announcing in any way that I could, and kind of weasel my way in here. And so now I try to offer kind of the bleacher perspective of everything that we fans are seeing. Do my best to stay involved and just talk until Jason shuts me up usually.
No, I don't want to shut you up. Mr. Payne, who are you?
Well, I'm Brent Payne from Shandon, Ohio. I own Gene's Machine Shop, GMS. Also the crew chief for the Galat Motorsports team of North Carolina. Been pulling for about 25 years, so try to be as much of a fan as I can, but anymore, when tractor pulling's over for the day, I go home.
Fair enough. Well, let's talk about GMS a little bit. Obviously, Larry and I and Mike know what GMS is, but let's say somebody's never heard of Brent Payne from GMS. What is GMS and why do I need it in my life if I'm a puller?
GMS was started in the mid 1990s by Gene Sharber. He kind of fixed some pieces up for himself and then for some other guys that solved a few small problems. And, he built a really good reputation of high quality and customer service. So I went to work for Gene in 2003 or 4. We worked on tractors with my dad's with Gene, for years, and then went to work for him, and then ended up buying the company from him in 2007. So since 2007, we've been kind of growing steadily, or trying to maintain, I guess, anyway, change our product lines a little bit. But we used to build a lot of engines and do chassis work and little this and little that. We've kind of more focused now into the parts side. We manufacture, front drive assemblies and differentials and drive line components, pistons and sleeves and connecting rods and those kind of things. In our main, I guess we do sell to individual users, but the main supply typically goes to other vendors, like Wipeout Enterprises buys a lot of parts, and Mondovi Tractor, Jeff Suits out of Illinois. Sorry, you guys like that we can service them, and they can take our product to market.
Nice. Chuck Fowler says, congrats on the PPL Tech Advisor position, Larry. We'll get into that later in the show. Mick Broughton says, spark plugs, laugh out loud. Well, he's a truck puller, Brent. What do you want him to say, right? So,
that's right.
It's all good. And I think this is one of them spammers. Hello, spammer. Welcome to Let's Grow Pulling, the podcast. We appreciate having you on the night. So if anybody has any questions for Brent Payne, he's also not just an engine builder and a part supplier. He's also a puller. And we're gonna get into that next a little bit. But if you have any questions or good memories or anything you want to have fun with Brent, pick on him a little bit, just throw that in the comments. Brent's a big boy. He likes to have some fun. Brent, let's talk about Brent Payne, the puller. Can you take us back to your earliest pulling memories with Dad and then kind of walk us up to where we are today?
Oh, man.
We got time.
Tractor
it's our
pulling,
show, buddy. Do what we want.
Yeah, tractor pulling the only thing my dad wanted to do.
No pressure.
Baseball, football, that stuff was nothing in his that didn't concern him. So from the time I could get on a pedal tractor, he was dragging me around to do those kind of things. So pedal pulling, the garden tractors, the antique tractors, and then on up to super stock. In the late 90s, we had a super stock tractor and then started Grand National pulling in 2000. And from there it was Rookie of the Year, NTPA Rookie of the Year 2000, and any kind of award you can think of. I've achieved that somehow with a lot of help from family and friends and teammates. But yeah, tractor pulling has been here for my whole life.
Have you had they always talk like a team of the decades, when I watch NFL football or something like that. Brent, was there a couple year stretch where you'll always remember, man, as a puller, no matter what you do, sometimes it just goes great, and sometimes no matter what you do, it doesn't go worth the crap. Have you ever had a couple years stretch there where man, this is we got this figured out. And then, obviously we always get humbled, but did you have a couple years like that in your history?
It comes and goes. Yeah. I mean, yeah, when I was about 8, I was really good at pedal pulling. And then, but after that, it kind of went downhill for quite some time. The, like the early 2000s was pretty good. We had a new tractor, fresh tractor, new component deal, alcohol super stock running Grand National. And
that was the color of money, right? But
the color of money, that's correct. Yep. And, the first, I'd say we were averaging probably 60 to 70 hooks for a couple of years, which was unheard of nowadays. But we run Ohio State and ATPA and NTPA and everywhere we could go and pulled, and had a really couple of good years there. Then it went downhill for a while. We had another stretch of decent luck, with the light tractor, for a little bit, and then the year, let's see here, I can't even think of what years it would have been. 16, 17, and 18 with Galot Motorsports was pretty amazing. We won a lot of pulls, and it's like, it was one of them deals where the target was really huge in front of us, and we set our mind to it, and we won. And then, since then we've kind of felt like we've slacked off a little bit and just kind of took it easier, but it did back then in 16, 17, 18, it was really, really hard work, and it was memorable.
This says 2009 on YouTube, Brent.
2009.
Payne,
yeah, this is
Preble County pull, first place pull. Yeah.
Yeah, this is at Eaton, Ohio. I remember this one pretty well. New 504 engine in the tractor. That was kind of when we started to go into the lightweight program. I wrecked a lot of parts in that tractor. I think we counted one time we put somewhere near 50 lifters in it, maybe 30, 40 push rods. Had to crank out of it, the head off of it. I mean, just lots and lots of stuff. That was a night there that I beat. That night there, I beat Neil Genninger's Grand National Diesel Superstock, and it didn't go very well for him, but it went pretty good for me. So,
I love it. I love it.
Did the Color of Money tractor, did that get sold and maybe go out west, or is that something you guys have still got laying around somewhere?
Nope. We're broke, so you got to buy something, sell something, upgrade a little bit, move on. The first Color of Money tractor was actually Gene Sharber's tractor we bought from Wayne Kennedy, and it was sold a handful of times and ends up the chassis is now a Light Pro in Indiana. Hasn't run in a year or two, but it belongs to Travis Hughes. The second Color of Money, which was the first component we built, went overseas to William DeVos, and it became the Extreme Temptation tractor, which he's then since sold, and I don't know where it went to. The third Color of Money was the lightweight superstock version we had built, and it's currently running as Scott Holtgroove's Voodoo Deer.
That's okay. So from the bleachers, the fans' perspective, people had always said that the Voodoo Deer looked identical to the Color of Money. So that's always something that, we would hear rumbling up in the stands. So there it is from the horse's mouth. We had assumed that, we'd heard that, but now we know. Cool.
Did you just call Brent Payne a horse on Let's Grow Pulling podcast, Mike? The horse's mouth?
More like a mule. No, that tractor, Scott, we got it running, and Scott begged me to sell it to him, and I wouldn't do it. And then we got it running pretty good, and decided that it was time. I had 3 really small children, and they were sucking up money, and now he's in the same boat I was in way back then. So he's got little kids now too. So, but no, that was a really, really well built tractor, and he's had some good success with it. So.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That oil primer pump that we showed that video at the beginning, Brent, are you selling a bunch of those?
We've done well with those. Yeah. Funny thing is, like, nobody takes my word for it, but when Travis Schlabach says something about it, that's gold, man. So, which is good. It works for him. So, and the diesel superstock guys have loved it.
Yep.
Usually people buy, 2 or 3 of them when they buy them, because they're trying to
outfit the customers' tractors or whatever. But yeah, it seems to be taking off well.
Good. Ryan Folk says the 7810 was the best looking version in my opinion.
I would agree with that.
That's what he just popped in there. He's watching on Facebook. I'm sharing a video. Morgan Schulte told me to bring up the YouTube video from 2003, so I'm going to let that play in the background while we talk. Let's talk PRI, Mr. Payne, Performance Racing Institute. We're going to be down there. We have some booth space together down there in Indy. You think I know it's the largest motorsport trade show in the world, but it really seems to be towards more just like drag racing and circle track racing and stuff like that. But pulling has been getting part of it the last couple of years. What's the importance of Brett Payne and GMS having an image, or what's the word I'm looking for? A booth, I guess, at PRI. What are you looking for there? I love it it's good for the sport of pulling, but from a GMS perspective, Brett, what are you looking to do there?
Well, really, I was just told, Doug said you needed extra money and you couldn't find anybody else to go in there with you. So I said I would, but
you know what? I bought a diesel super stock. I'd like to pass the hat, and you warned me, Payne. You told me not to do it. So when I feel sorry for myself, I'm never going to blame you. So
we'll get back to that later. But now PRI, I've been going to PRI since I was 18 years old when I was allowed to get in. So it's grown tremendously since it started, and some of it's repetitive year after year, but it's always about the connections you make with the vendors and things. We've dealt with people from California for 25 years, and you only get to see them once a year. So, I can speak directly with the owners of Dart and Sleeves and Diamond Pistons and just to name a few, ARP. All these vendors that we deal with day to day that we never talk to other than on the phone. It's nice to make that connection, once a year. They're all in the same boat, they just come out and see what's going on. But is there a lot of new stuff? Yeah, not a lot of new things all the time, but sometimes you can connect ideas in round track racing to what we do or any other kind of motorsport. But tractor pulling's getting a bigger presence out there every year, a little bit bigger every year. So, it's pretty exciting to be able to have a vehicle there. Kind of always wanted to do that. So, as far as our company goes, we're
what
not.
Vehicle? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I always talk on top of my guests. I got to stop that.
Okay.
Keep talking. So.
But as far as our company goes, we're going to basically have everything that we build or not everything we build, but a lot of things are going to be displayed on this new vehicle we've got. So, and the new vehicle is a new light super stock tractor that it's going to be run by the Galat Motorsports team next summer.
Do you have any pictures of it? Can we break the internet today? Well, we can't break the internet today. Larry's new job broke the internet today.
It's already broken.
No,
already broken.
It'll be. I can't do that to him. It's his day, special day.
There you go.
It's going to be revealed at PRI, and that's when it'll be seen. So
nice. Travis Slaubaugh. Go ahead, Larry.
The big thing I like about the PRI show is besides making connection face to face with the people you've dealt with, the more they know you personally, other than on the phone, the more they're going to work with you. The more when you call and say, "Hey, I need a set of pistons," they're going to get them for you. Everybody's got a list, but then when you make that personal connection, I think it helps, don't you, Brent, to actually know them and they can recognize on the phone who they've actually met and talked to. You hear guys tell horror stories about they can't get parts out of the West Coast, and then the next guy calls and he gets them. But still, I think it's good for the motorsports industry. And now that PRI's got an office right here in Indianapolis, I find that they're more and more involved in other sports besides drag racing and IndyCar. So it's grown. It takes 2 or 3 buildings up now of the convention center downtown Indianapolis.
Yeah, the first time we went, I think it was maybe a one big room. It was nothing, and
right.
It's massive. And then when it was in Florida, it was down there, for all those years, and it was a big building, but it wasn't really that big of a show. But once it's come back to Indianapolis, it's really, really grown and taken off.
Yeah, it's huge. It's impressive. I won't make it this year. I'm going to go see Mickey and Minnie with the grandkids, but I went last year up for a couple of days, and you can't cover it all. There's no way. It's like a 3 or 4 day show, and unless you just walk continually the whole time, you're not going to cover it all.
Travis Schlabach says best part he's bought in the last few years. So that's for you, Mr. Payne, referring to your oil primer pump. That's pretty awesome. So
Yeah, good.
the guy that you said we should have him be the official spokesperson of that. So from Ringo,
Could be,
Iowa,
yeah.
Travis Schlabach.
Travis is looking for a sponsorship. He's wanting a discount.
Yeah.
I know Travis.
Paul Romack says, "What's up, F Kers? Funkers? I don't know what that stands for.
Fookers.
Yeah. Tell Paul I forgot about him yet. I'll get to his call. I promise. I haven't.
No, because when I talk to Paul quite a lot, Grant, I'm like, did you connect with Payne yet? Oh yeah, I'm gonna. And then I know how busy it gets.
Yeah, he left a message, and it's on my desk. But then my secretary was on vacation last week, and I had to add 2 more tasks to my job. So
of your 5 things you're already doing. So
yeah.
and if you're just joining us, got quite a few people watching tonight. I'm pretty sure they want Larry to talk about working for the PPL, but our first guest is Brent Payne, owner of GMS, awesome truck puller. How does one who owns a shop get to employ one of the greatest 2-wheel drive truck pullers to ever exist in Jesse Petro? How did he have like a for hire sign out one day? Did you pick him up along the road, Payne, or how did that all come together?
Well, no, not quite like that. This is kind of a little bit the connection we have with Larry too, that we all grew up together, right? So Jesse and I are the same age, and both Larry's daughters and Larry's son-in-law, Bud Genninger was in the same group as we were. So yeah, we've known each other since before we could even drive. So we're pretty spoiled to have such a tight-knit group that we pulled with and grew up with that was in this pulling family. So Jesse, they lived about 45 minutes away. And it just, he was kind of looking for an opportunity to have a more of a full-time job. He was buying and selling a lot of trucks and motorhomes and trailers and stuff. And that kind of dried up a little bit for him when the economy changed some. And of course, when his dad passed away, he needed to kind of, the trucking went away and they needed something else to do. So he's been a tremendous asset to the company. He can talk to the pullers. He knows what the parts are. He's very easygoing and honest. And, I can't ask for a better person to be in that position he's in. He's kind of mostly in the shipping area. He boxes parts up and kind of keeps everybody in a shop with what they need, divvies up the materials and orders small parts and things. So, yeah, he's got a strong presence there.
He's a good man. Yeah.
Awesome. No, he's a great guy. I think it's cool he works for you. So.
Talking about watching people grow up, or you guys growing up together, if I put on my old sentimental hat, which isn't this one, that's a new hat. Oh my God, I just blinded you.
You got it. There it is right there. You put it on.
I know. I put it back on. Now, Jason, there's a whole group of kids like he just named, and then you put Jordan Lustick in that circle, Jeff Hurt in that circle. I feel pleased and very proud to watch those kids grow up into fine adults and have their own families. I mean, we were talking before we went on the air there, Brent knows the old sentimental side of Larry. Everybody thinks Larry's a tyrant or Larry's a butthole or Larry's whatever, but you get me to the grandson. I know you do, Jason, hush. But it really makes my heart warm to see these guys grow up and become men and women and do what they've done and continue to do it. I'm proud for them.
Well,
I spent a weekend with Mr. Hurt, watched him have a really good North Carolina State Fair. So
Larry
Brent,
had Hurt hold pinned years ago, because I remember him saying something. One of his daughters, he come home and says, "Who is upstairs in my room?" And it was Jeff Hurt was staying in Larry's house. And he wanted to know who in the hell brought that boy home with him.
Well, now let me tell the story, because I tell it in front of Jeff all the time, and I need to stop it now that Jeff's more prominent a puller with my new hat. Anyway, I come home like 1 or 2 in the morning, guys, and there's a strange pickup truck in my driveway. I go in my house, I walk in the front room, and who's on the couch asleep? Jeff Hurt. And so I go upstairs. Both my girls were still living at home, hadn't gone to college yet. And I woke them both up and I said, who? And they said, brought home Jeff Hurt. And Leslie, who eventually married the Gettinger boy, Bud, said, I did. And I said, well, I'm glad he's on the damn couch. So anyway, the next morning, I'm right out here in the very same shop with all the junk on the wall and everything else. And he comes out and he goes, hi, Dad. I went, you little son of a bitch. Yeah. Jeff, I don't think Jeff laughs about it as much as I do, but I would have taken him had that been the case. But Jeff's a good kid. And seriously, watching them grow up and become the pullers and the leaders in the sport, and like Brent, the machinists and the business owners, enough of Larry being sentimental, but it seriously makes me proud.
Does Jeff get off the couch faster than he gets out of the driver's seat?
Nobody gets out of a driver's seat faster than Jeff. And we have never done breakfast in the Rich Wine household. Never, ever, ever, ever. And even when the girls were little, I mean, you might hand them a piece of toast, but we just never done breakfast. And so I'm out here in the shop, and he comes through that door and he goes, morning, Dad. Oh, you little son of a bitch. Anyway, but yeah. But no, we laugh about it now, but he's a good man and got a fine family of his own and does very well in the sport.
Brent, I was in Raleigh this past weekend with Full Pull, and I got to announce with Bert Forbes out there. I'm sure you've pulled with Galot or had your tractors out in Raleigh before at the North Carolina State Fair.
Oh yeah, many times. Yeah. The last couple of years, I've kind of stayed home and tried to get a jump on the season. It does take a bit of time to switch everything over to go there. We always would take the overhead cam engines out and put in push rod engines to go down there, and oh, what a real pain in the butt. But it was successful. We did well with them for a while. Then this stuff just got wore out. We just really didn't get back to it again. And then the this year just been, had some other things going on, and we decided to stay home and get a jump on the winter, I guess. So
yeah, Holt. Well, I did get to see Holt. He came to the fair both nights, and that was fun to see him down there. So that was my first trip there. The hardest part at the North Carolina State Fair is getting from the pits to the track. I mean, it is a freaking zoo. And then they got a bunch of rain, and then Chad Mackey and the Red Dirt guys, I don't know how they pulled it off, Brent. Honestly, it rained until 4:00, bud. And we started pulling at 7, and it wasn't terrible. I mean, it wasn't a great track, but it wasn't a bad track. They did great. We as no one pulling, everybody's got to pull on the same track, but we got that show in Saturday night. I was amazed. But they did an amazing job. That's a big state fair, you guys. I mean, Raleigh's 2 million people now, and I've never walked like this through a food court before just to go get a cheeseburger. I mean, the amount of people that were there, it was a great weekend. I really enjoyed it.
It's a good experience if you've never been to it before, for sure. The weather can be a crapshoot. Sometimes it's 75 and really nice, and sometimes it's 50 and rainy. So
it was perfect Friday night.
One of those years.
Yeah, it was perfect Friday night in the 70s, and then we lost the day session. So then they decided. So everybody got their 2 hooks. They took the classes and merged them into Saturday night and Sunday day. So we had 8 classes on Saturday night, 7 on Sunday, but it worked out really good for everybody. And I met a lot of new fans that follow, Full Pull and Beer Money, and they watch the podcast and stuff like that. And it was fun. Met a lot of people from the eastern side, New York, all the way down. There's quite a few pullers there from all over the East Coast. It was a good time. Really, really.
Chad builds an excellent track. I've told Chad to his face he's the Jim Miller of the Carolinas. Chad builds an excellent track.
When Larry says he tells it to his face, that's his way of saying he's serious, guys. I speak Larry. That's what that means. He's serious.
Really?
Yep. Brent, somebody's asking on one of the Facebook groups, what is your favorite part of your job at GMS, Brent?
Going home. No. Favorite part of my job. It is a challenging business for sure. There are worse jobs for sure, but sometimes it could be really painful what you have to go through to get new product out, to get old product on the shelf, to get, there's so many things, whether it be you're missing a bearing or a piece of material doesn't come in right, or the heat treats get screwed up, or the UPS drops apart, anything. There's just so many things that go into this that it becomes you become really personally attached to the business, and which is good and bad both, right? So I'm going to say the favorite part is developing a new product or a new idea that becomes successful. Whether it be in something like this oil primer pump, or a fix for a pinion bearing problem in a modified tractor, or a fuel system correction in a light super stock. I mean, there's just some of them things that you work really, really hard for that everybody doesn't see how much stress and hard work go into those problems. And you show up to 8 or 10 Grand Nationals, and you make laps down the track, but a lot of times there was a lot of failure before that happened. That some guys just buy, right? They just buy the product, or they buy the part, or they buy the whole tractor, and they never really struggle to get it to go anywhere. And so when we can be successful after the struggle, that's probably the most rewarding part.
Mike Whitney says probably working with him. I don't know if you could agree with that or not, Brent. Or so.
Well, he quit, so it's good now.
He quit calling wanting parts, right?
Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. If anybody has any questions for Brent Payne, GMS, any memories, please type them in the comments. We're going to let him go here in a few minutes and move on to our next segment, talk about Larry's new job with PPL. Brent, if I would say to you, give me a 60-second commercial of what you want people to know about GMS, what would it be?
A 60-second commercial.
Well, it doesn't have to be. It can be 90 seconds. You're the boss tonight. Whatever. But like from your chair, what do you want your potential customers, your current customers know you. That's why they're your current customers. But what would you want somebody new, or why should somebody give you a call on something, Brent?
Well, I guess I'll go through a little bit of this. We always strive for quality. We at the utmost quality is what we look for, and if somebody gives us the opportunity to buy our product, they give us the respect that sometimes things fail or things happen that we can't control. People are human, so you do have mistakes. If they give us the opportunity to correct that problem, we always correct the problem. Golly, I lost my train of thought now, Jason. Anyway.
It gets worse as you get older, by the way. Trust me. Before the main focus of now is to get our products and to get the information out there. You guys have helped us with the information on the videos we've done, a lot to get people to understand what we do and how we do it. But there is a lot of work that goes into it, and I want them to know what kind of effort we put into the product. And then it's to support our vendors or our dealers like Mondovi Tractor, Wipeout Enterprises, so that when they sell those products on their web stores or in their builds, that they realize they're getting something quality, and it's stood behind. Excuse me. So, we continue to try to develop new things. It is a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, and even though the COVID stuff is over, we're still reeling from supply chain issues. So you have to be patient. If a customer is not willing to be patient, they might as well call somebody else, because we work 50, 60 hours a week at the shop, and it's not like we're staying around doing nothing. So it's a lot of work. There's a lot of stress, and we do the best we can. I was up to visit Jim and Steve at Weimer earlier in the week with some customers from Denmark, and they're in the same boat. People call up there, and every day there's the phone rings more than they can supply, and it's a good problem and a bad problem both to be in that position. So patience and understanding from the customer standpoint. We do everything we can to get the job done, but sometimes it just isn't enough, So, but we do understand that the job needs to get done, and the customer's product, they want a good pulling. So we're going to do whatever we can to get that done, but without sacrificing quality.
Understood.
Good
Understood.
answer.
Paul Romack, question for Brent. How many times in a season can you go to a poll and just watch? No work speak, no diagnosing, etc. I know the answer to that.
Yeah.
We all do.
I can't
Mhm.
at all. I went to it with my kids. You know, they're pulling antiques now, and you know, Johnny, my son, was in an accident back in the springtime, and he, you know, lucky to be here, and so I've been kind of supporting them, going and watching them pull antiques this year a little bit, best we could. You know, it was, and you know, but when it's 2 o'clock in the morning and they're wanting to pull antiques, I go to bed. I don't want to be there. But I've tried to not micromanage their decision making problem. You know, to tell them, let them learn it on their own and figure it all out, which is really, really difficult.
It's their turn.
So the antique
Yeah.
side's a little easier. Going to an Ohio State pull, into a couple of those this year because I hadn't gone in years, and I realized why we pull Grand National or Champions Tour, you know, because you know it's for me it's just the way I'm spoiled, right? So I that's my nature, and my job is I have to overanalyze, and I have to look at something to make it better. You know, I look at the sled. I watch the sled go up and down the track. I see what the track's doing, how they prepared the track. You know, who did what beforehand. Anything. There's so many number of things that I can go and I can't just go and watch and be a fan and drink beer. That's just not possible.
No, that's
I
fair.
understand.
That's very,
Good
very
answer.
fair.
Yeah.
What brand of tractor are the boys driving in the antique world?
They've got a D17 Alice Chalmers, and it's a nice little piece they bought from a guy named Zeb Casper up in Northeast Ohio, and it's doing really well with that. And then they've got a U Moline that came from a friend of Charlie Kirshner's down in Southern Indiana, and they've had a lot of fun with them things this year. And they kind of decided they want to park their little garden tractor pullers and not do so much of that this year. You know, and Johnny, my middle child, he's 16 now. He has got he's got a hankering to drive something faster. I don't think I'm quite ready to let him do that yet, but we do have a sled in the backyard right now we've been testing with, and there's a couple tractors there. I guess I could put him on if they don't break before he gets to it, but see.
One of those garden tractors, you could always move on to Jesse's children. That
I
could
keep
be
trying
the
that.
next.
He says no, but I keep trying.
Well, just tell him you've got a new bonus program, but you're going to have to cut his pay just a touch
Mhm.
to get this bonus program implemented on his pay scale, and then say, "Here's the first one." Yeah, I'm saying. I'm just saying.
We'll give it a shot.
Travis Alba says PRI will need to figure out this burst panel and oil pan. There you go.
Yeah, that's on
Travis
my
is
list of
supposed to be-
to-dos too.
Yeah. Travis is supposed to be the research and development department on that. He told me 2 years ago. So make him test it. Not on the track though.
I'd prefer him to
Andy
get down the
Herzog.
track every time. I don't want to see him test it.
Are you building any parts for the Pro Mod world, Mr. Payne?
Yeah, we do a fair amount of things for that through other vendor or other suppliers. I guess you'd say. I got to sort of keep their names quiet, but we do some gear work and spline work and lathe turning stuff for some very reputable builders in the door car drag racing world.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
The pro mod topic, that makes me kind of, and this might be jumping off topic a little bit here, that reminds me of the Galot Mini with the Pro Charger on it. What became of that, or is that more the North Carolina guys, or is that anything that's still bouncing around out there?
No, it's gone. I needed to get rid of another headache. You know, we that was a project we dealt with Pro Charger on at Proline, and it was a neat piece. Really, some really creative engineering we put into that, but at the end of the day, it just didn't work. The Pro Charger was has a failure point of about 4.5 seconds before they blow up, and you know, pulling at 4.5 seconds, you're only at about 175 feet. So we just didn't. It wasn't real torquey. It had a lot of horsepower, but you couldn't drive off the start line. there was quite a few things about that system that just didn't pan out. So we just decided to park that thing, and actually that's the B Bear of Jeff Hertz now, so he's making good use of it.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, no
Yes,
kidding.
he is. Where's the furthest you send parts to, Brent? GMS,
Australia.
Australia.
Wow.
Yeah, we
What-
got
what,
one or two guys we sent work down there too, and then there's of course it's not that we got coast to coast and Canada, and it's amazing. Got pullers in Utah now that are buying parts, and Idaho and Colorado. It's crazy. And then like I said last week we had Rasmus Hogen and Michael Glamsgaard from Denmark were in there. They own the Thymotech company in Denmark, and they have two John Deere Pro Stocks and a hub dyno. The first hub dyno in the world was at their shop, so they were here to visit. We sell lots and lots of parts to those guys. So, and they sell to Finland and Sweden and Norway and all kinds of places. So
That's awesome. I had no idea. Travis says, Larry, I tried it twice this year and it was epic failure. He used capital letters for epic. Failure, blown out oil pan. Back to the drawing
Yeah.
board.
I heard about it indirectly, but yeah, I heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Brent, we enjoy our partnership with GMS and the Beer Money Polling Team, and we think you're a great guy, and we love being part of what you're doing and getting. Listen, our job is to let more people know about GMS. So thank you for bringing us into your life. Unless you have anything else yet to go, we're going to let you go, and then we're going to move on to our next segment. Do you got anything else to say tonight, sir?
Just like I said, check out the website there. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. It's got just some basic information from our company. If you have any questions, call us or email us. Heather's there. She answers the phone every day. Well, she's gonna have a baby here shortly, so she won't be answering for too long.
Give her a cell phone, Brent. Give her a cell phone.
Yeah, she can take that thing home. So, but yeah,
I forgot to put these
anyway,
questions up, Brent. I'm sorry. Heath Blake was saying, do you build any parts for Yanmar or Kubota diesels? And then he came back later. Does GMS build any parts for the Limited Pro diesel tractors or I think he typed it in wrong, but those Limited Pro little diesel tractors.
The garden tractors, no, we don't. We did help Carlton Cope a few years back with some of that stuff that he was working on, but I really don't. We've tried to really focus on more of less as of late, because it's been, we grew up in the era where pulling is just massive compared to what it was when we started, and there's no possible way that you can be a shop that does everything for everybody. So we're trying to build better relationships with other builders, other suppliers, and if somebody makes a good product, I'm not going to step on their toes. We'll just try to work with them, and likewise, I'd like them to do that with us. But it does make it much easier to keep supply on the shelf when you can trust that somebody else isn't going to backdoor you.
Right.
Yep. Well said. Well, hey, like I said, if anybody's looking for anything, questions, just want to talk to a puller. Brent's a knowledge. He's a dictionary, an encyclopedia, not a dictionary. That's for something else. Sorry. Your encyclopedia of pulling knowledge. Thank you, Mr. Payne. I'm sure we'll talk before then, but gonna be excited to have you at PRI. I'll let you sit on my new diesel super stock if you want. So.
Is it going to be clean?
It's gonna be very clean. It's gonna be very clean. Very clean.
That was good, Brent. I like that comment.
I love it. Thanks, Brent. Have a good night, buddy.
All right, guys. Thank you. Good job, Larry. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take care.
Amanda Beck says, yes, it's going to be clean. So Mike's daughter piping in there. So of course it's going to be clean. So, well, good. Our first segment tonight, Brent Payne, owner of GMS, just a great guy. We have a partnership with him. We influence his social media here at the Beer Money Polling Team. We can do that for anybody out there. We can help you grow your presence on social media. So today I woke up I got up at 5:00 this morning Eastern to catch my plane to fly home today. And I scrolling through Facebook and I see that Larry Richwine works for the PPL. So tonight we introduced Larry Richwine. What's your title, buddy?
I'm not sure. I think the press release said that I was tech and safety and greasy oil in the trucks of PPL and some kind of advisor. I don't know. but Jonathan said we probably would break the internet, and I'm pretty sure we at least put a dent in it today.
You did.
Um,
You absolutely did.
First off, I'd like to explain. I compare it to pro basketball, pro football. Oh, nice cigar on my gator there. But anyway, yes, I almost brought a cigar out tonight. I'm going to have to get some cigars and put in the office just for my every night. I'm sorry.
I really thought tonight was going to be your night, Larry. I really did.
Technically, I became a free agent the 1st of October. WPI NTPA course a year ago. Put Marvin Epperson in Tech and Safety Director, which was fine. I don't have a bit of problem with Marvin or the NTPA. I was a consultant for a year, and they just didn't renew my contract. So I became a free agent, and Jonathan started talking to me at the National Farm Machinery Show last year. I was just there loitering in Dion's t-shirt stand in Broadbent. And anyway, and Jonathan started talking to me there. And when it was official that I was a free agent, I called Jonathan and said, talk to me. And I went down a week ago, Monday, today. And that's why a few of you noticed that I had on a different hat a week ago.
Yep.
And had that smaller sticker. I'll have a bigger one, but that smaller sticker behind over my shoulder. And I officially I get my first paycheck November 1st, but I'll be at their banquet, of course, helping with the rules and stuff. And I was mostly impressed that Jonathan and Christy both said, I said, well, I work for you guys, whatever you want me or need me to do. And they both said, well, we've been a team of 2, and now we're a team of 3. But
Wow.
I don't know what all will be my duties other than probably work some shows they can't make, because with all the events they've got going on, the 2 of them can't make all of them.
Right.
And a lot of the events that they have, I won't say a lot, but several of the events they have are events that used to be NTPA and that I used to work. And so those promoters, I'm very familiar with. I mean, the Mount Sterling, Illinois, Salem, Illinois, places like that I went for years and worked. Lexington, Alabama, which is a Mid-South event, but I heard from them today and said, well, Larry, maybe you can come back down and visit us. And I said, well, depending on my schedule. But that made it very clear to me that they wanted me and welcomed me. And I just, I don't know. Like I say, I was a free agent for a few hours and got picked up by another team. That's all it was.
I like
But
it.
no hard feelings with NTPA. I didn't leave there under bad terms. If they had bad terms, that I don't know it, and I don't have any. Like I say, I just got a new job with a new team. Basically, I think I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to help govern rules and offset phone calls. And I only seen one negative comment on the internet today, and I would have expected it from him. He don't care for me. That's fine. But 99%. I mean, you can't do the job for 29 years and not have somebody hate your guts.
Right.
And I mean, I've always tried to in life, as well as in that job I had and I have now, I've always tried to treat people like I hope they would treat me. And I found that what goes around comes around. And if you treat people with the best you can in the heat of the battle, even the best you can, it'll come back. And I feel like I'm very blessed to have done what I have done, and hopefully got a few years left in me. In fact, they even asked me, how long do you want to do this? And I said, well, as long as my mind's there and you trust my judgment and I can help you, at least 2 or 3 years. And they said, well, we'd like to have you at least that time. So I'm just, like I say, I'm fortunate to have established myself. You can say rich wine anywhere in the world of pulling, and I mean anywhere. And they'll either roll their eyes or say that son of a gun, or they'll say, oh, well, I've dealt with him. He's okay. But I am excited about it and pleased that I can stay in the sport, because it's all I know. I mean, I might be able to fix your car out here, but other than that, truck and tractor pulling is all I've ever known.
I love it.
No, you dedicated your life to it. So.
Well, I mean, and they've assured me that I'll get to announce some of the events I've already been announcing for years, like Sandwich, Illinois. I've announced for 20 years. that won't be an issue. When we go to Florida, which mid-Florida now is an NTPA member state,
Yep.
they've already assured me that I can do all those events, no problem. A couple people questioned today, well, where will Hoosier State tractor pullers be? Will Larry convert them to PPL? And I made a statement a while ago on Facebook on the Hoosier State page that you'll never hear me say that they should jump ship and go to PPL. I mean, if that's something they want to do, that's fine, but I'll never suggest it because I work there now. Hoosier State was one of the initial states that started NTPA in 1969. And I'm personally proud to be a part of Hoosier State and have been their secretary and treasurer on and off for 30 years, over 30 years combined. So I would never do that to them. And if they see fit, they don't want me to be around that, that's fine. But, you know, you can only go where your heart is. And my heart's Hoosier State. And now PPL is a good job, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty sure it'll be the next spot in my heart.
I think it's gonna be good for you. It's gonna be a new challenge. It'll be another. You know, I mean, you know all the pullers, Larry, in the pulling world, but people you haven't worked with a lot, maybe necessarily. I think we see more back and forth across associations, which I personally love as a pulling fan. When Masterson's came to Toma this year, it was like Masterson's are here, Masterson's is here, you know, and it was pretty neat to see that, you know, see that this year. I think it's good. I think it's good.
And Kevin's in that same group with you know, Brent and all of them as far as watching him grow up. I mean, that's why about every pick I made was Kevin, because I knew he was tough.
Yep.
I mean, you know, Travis said we need 3 organizations. And Travis is right. There's enough room for 3 sanctioning bodies. God knows there's enough events for them. So, I mean, I didn't burn any bridges to my knowledge with NTPA. And if I did, I was sorry. But the bottom line is tractor pulling is me. And I'm just very, very pleased to be a part of it still.
I got quite a few phone calls today, Larry. Did you hear about Larry? I'm like, oh, yeah, I just saw it. And I got a lot of, you know, people I consider, you know, leaders in the pulling world. And I got a lot of the veteran quarterback move, you know, kind of into your career. I got a couple years left and I still want to enjoy this. And I thought that was a neat analogy. It wasn't ripping on you or ripping on what PPL did. It's kind of a neat analogy. You know what I mean? So it's fun.
Well, Bill Laster said for years, you know, and so did Steve Boyd always said, you know, Forrest needs you to come work with them. And I said, no, they're doing fine. Well, yeah, but they could use another one, you know, they need some help or whatever. And I feel very sure that Jonathan Christie have done a good job. And I don't know that they needed help, but I am pleased that they wanted help and they asked me to do it. And like I say, I feel very blessed is the best way to say it. I'm having a hard time getting away from that sentimental part of Larry tonight, but just like Brent brought up, I mean, I've watched these kids grow up, become men and women in the sport, and it's just does my old heart good, and I'm still going to be a part of it. So, no, I best thing I can say is I'm blessed, and I'm very, very happy and thankful. My first function, I guess, is going to their banquet, and of course, listening to the different divisions and the rules they want. It's a different system than I'm used to. Jonathan emailed me the rule book the other day, even though he gave me a hard copy, and he goes, take a look at it and see what you think. And I'm thinking, whoa, I'm not making no rules yet, you know, but he just said, see what you think. And so I told him, I texted him, I said, I'm not going to say what I think till I hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
But
are there a lot of differences between NTPA and PPL at the national level?
No,
I didn't think so. I've always been told, and again, just, you know, that everybody kind of works together and they try to make it work. I know. So the NTPA, they did the thing like with Slaw's mini rods, right? This year?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a new rule there where they want the feet inside the frame. I seen.
I saw that.
That's fine. And I have to admit, when Bruce first came out with that, I thought, oh man, Bruce, you know, come on. He goes, well, rule book don't say I can't, and it didn't. And I didn't know how to read a rule book till I took this job in '93. And Ernie Connors taught me how to read the rule book.
We've talked briefly about that before. If it doesn't say you can't.
Yeah, we were at Canfield. that's the fair that's got something to crow about it. They got a great big rooster out front of the fairgrounds and said the fair that's got something to crow about. Anyway, Canfield, Ohio. And I don't know, something come up, and it was probably my second event to work as head tech and safety. And somebody questioned the head Ernie had on his tractor. And I went over and I said, Ernie, I don't think you can do that. And he goes, now, Larry, he said, rule book don't say I can't do that. I looked at him, I looked at the rule book, and I looked at him again, and I says, well, Ern, you're right, it doesn't. I said, I'm walking away, but damn it. And he said, yeah, you'll have to make that rule later. And by God, they did. But anyway, but no, I got stories. I should have wrote a book. I swear I should have wrote a paragraph an event on who was doing what and who was hanging out with who and who got stoned with Jesus drunk and got rolled over out of the way the next morning. But they'd have put it on the fiction shelf, but it would have been true. But no, it's been a hell of a journey, and I don't think it's over. So that's good. But no, it's going to be fun, and I'm looking very forward to it. I have to admit.
So,
Well, I mean, I got to spend a lot of time with you this summer. It's been fun really getting to know you as a friend. I've just always known you as Larry the Butthead, but now I consider you a friend. I hope you feel the same way, but I can tell
Yes,
you're
I do.
itching and busy, and it's, it's hard for you just to be a fan too. You know what I mean?
Oh, I can't watch from the stand. I have a hard time watching from the sidelines. I mean,
Yeah.
this summer when I started going to events with the full pull, I very seldom went out to the track and watched the show. Even when everything's running smooth and everything's going right, I try to micromanage it. Like, why is this guy standing here? And shouldn't they move that photographer over? And who the heck hung those banners? That's the things that I've always thought of. I did go out this at the Enderley and watched because it's the champion, best of the best thing. But other than that, I don't think I spent maybe 5 minutes total trackside at any of the events we attended. And by the way, Jason, I can still do full pull if in fact I don't have a scheduled commitment with PPL.
Good deal.
The guys in Wisconsin have already asked me, am I going to be at Mackville? I says, I don't know. I hope so, because that's, I've been to Mackville before with NTPA years ago.
Yeah.
And it's the week before Toma. And if that's the case and I don't have a commitment during Toma, I suppose I could go over and work with a full pull thing at Toma for there. I don't know. But had several places call the smaller events or events I haven't announced for 20 years and say, well, will you still be able to do our event? And I said, well, once again, it's subject to my primary employer as far as whether I'm available or not. So we'll see. But I have to admit, it's been a hell of a day. Yeah. I used to always say, the flow here at the sewage plant on Facebook, I would say, heavy flow. And I actually had one guy, he's not an official anymore, but he used to be in the South. And he asked somebody when I was talking about the flow every day or two, here at the sewage treatment plant. And I was talking about the phone traffic and the questions and stuff, which the flow is always heavier when the rules come out. And he asked somebody, well, you mean he don't work at a sewage plant? My God, he knows all the terminology. Because one day I said something about MGD, and he goes, well, you said 1 million gallons a day. And I'm thinking, no, I was talking about the more genuine draft. Anyway, anyway, I told somebody today that, I'm back at a water treatment plant job, not the same town, different facility, but a similar work job. So I don't know, but I really don't know my title yet, if I'll have one. But the only thing I can tell you for sure, Jason, is I'm one of the team, they told me, and I'm proud to be a part of that. And I'll do my very level best. Even the guy that doesn't like me on Facebook or in person, I won't name him, but that's fine. I treat everybody like I hope they treat me.
I like it. The neatest thing that you said since we started talking about this, your new position with PPL, is that, because it always has been John and Christy. We've all seen that. And I've always wondered how the two of them did it all. And,
it's
now
gotta be a heck of a,
yeah. Now it's 3. And that's neat for me to see that, because I know I've seen behind the scenes organizations the last couple of years working with the Outlaws, and people have no idea. It's insane, the amount of work and the people and the time and effort to put on a pull. And then, I never thought about how the banners are hung, Larry, and all that stuff, and the straight white lines. And until you mentioned that tonight, it kind of spurred my head again from summer. And it's
Well,
true. It's a professional sport. We want to
I mean,
keep it that way.
always before when I was running everything and out in the middle of the track, before I'd ask them if they're done, play the big song, I would look at the whole track and all the facility and say, what have we missed? Do we have fire extinguishers out? Do we have track markers where they need to be? I mean, it's just a whole host of things that I call it field of vision. I used to tell my kids, pick everything up off the floor in my field of vision because you're going to get hollered at if you don't pick it up. But I mean,
Yep.
I'm just saying that you look around and say, what did we miss? And that's how I look at an event. And I think that's part of what John and Christy are after, my experience and stuff. Something that I was very impressed with, and he's probably watching tonight, and he noticed my hat last week. And that's Don Slama. He called me, and the only event I've ever attended PPL to date was Hillsboro, Wisconsin.
Yep.
And first and only one I've attended of PPL event. And anyway, he called me and welcomed me to the team. And I was impressed that he called, and he goes, yeah, I seen that hat. And I says, well, little subliminal messages Larry's good at, but yeah. More people caught it than I thought. Yeah.
I've got 3 questions for you, Larry,
Sure.
and you kind of just touched on it. This should be
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
just go one at a time because he's getting old. Okay.
Oh,
just
okay.
one
You want me
question
to
at a time. Don't do all
write 'em
three.
down? So have you kind of looked at the calendar? Are there polls that you've already kind of circled and saying like, man, this one's one that I'm fired up to go see. This one's one of the ones that I've always kind of been curious about. You talk about Hillsboro, and you've got polls like Jerseyville and America's Poll and Elkhart at Goshen. Is there a poll that you're thinking, ooh, that's something that's going to be, I want to see what that's all about. Of course, they're all excellent, but is there a couple that jump off the calendar to you right away?
Well, the best way to answer that, Mike, is back when I was pulling or just running the Hoosier State events. I've been to the Evansvilles, the Goshens, places like that. I can remember driving from Evansville on a Thursday night to Goshen. We pulled Friday night, sleeping under the trailer long before campers or living quarters. And then the next morning, wake up at 9 a.m. while they're pulling antiques and farm stocks at Goshen. And I was going to pull in the afternoon and the evening. I am anxious to see some of these events I haven't been to for many years and see how they've progressed. I know they have. I see them, on the internet and everything else. And I said, wow, we used to pull there and boy, they really improved this or that or the other thing. But I don't know that there's any one event that really sticks out. I mean, every event, as you well know, from announcing or from the bleachers perspective, you say you're trying to give us. Each event has its uniqueness and its little things that either whether it's the food there or the availability or the number of bleachers. And my God, how do they fill this place up? And the town's only 700 people. I mean, each event has its own specialty thing that sticks out in my mind when I go somewhere. But I mean, and like I say, I've worked the Troys and the Jerseyvilles and with the NTPA. I got a lot of miles on me, and there's a lot of promoters out there that I've worked with that I'm looking very forward to working with again.
Good.
And some of them have contacted me today, but I don't know. I'm just seriously just looking forward to the whole summer.
What about some old faces that maybe you haven't seen in a long time? One that jumps to mind quickly for me is like a Jim Bosch, who was, in TPA long time ago and is diehard PPL. Are there some old teams that maybe you've got some history with and you're looking forward to interacting with again?
You mean watching him drive all the way down the track and then backing up?
He was the Jeff Hurt before there was a Jeff Hurt. You can go to 200 and 250 and, he still backs that truck up on 2 wheels better than I back mine up with 4 wheels. So
I know. Well, I mean, it'll be good to see like Jim and the Terry Hagedorns of the world.
Sure.
I mean, not everybody gets along with Terry. I don't think Terry wants to get along with everybody, but when him and Sheila, they were pulling both. And of course, she's got horses and Linda was doing entries at the time. And they would, became great friends. So I'm looking forward to seeing them guys again and stuff that I haven't had an opportunity to work with. But the biggest thing, there really is there's a few diehard pullers that would never go to a Bowling Green or a Toma, but the whole world comes together at the Bowling Green and Thomas and Chapel Hills of the world. And if they don't, they come to the events, smaller events after the fact, like the Georgetown, Ohio's. They want to try something before they put it in the barn. I mean, I get very fortunate to see these people and visit with them. But there's been a few people that contacted me today, text message or Facebook, that I hadn't spoke to in a while, and they say, "Boy, it's going to be good to see you again, Larry." And I have to admit, it does my old heart good. I mean,
Sure.
Evidently, I've still got a spot somewhere.
Fuqua might be another one that's kind of in that a little bit, where he runs PPL with the alcohol, where he used to be in TPA with the diesel many moons ago. So,
I mean, my own in-laws. I mean, the only time I seen Gettinger tractors lessons learned this year was at Georgetown.
mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't run that much PPL this year, but they have in the past, and I would see them at Bowling Green. The last time that they came to Toma, Bud, my son-in-law, won, and I didn't know it. I mean, I'm standing at the starting line. Once they leave and go, I don't pay attention to how far they go. All I know is nobody died. We don't have an ambulance run. Get him off the track. Let's bring me the next one.
Sure.
And so when the show's over, as long as the crowd goes, yay, and the promoter's happy, I don't pay attention or care who wins.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody told me, Bud had a hell of a run. And I go, what? He goes, well, yeah, he won, dumbass. I went, what? Oh, he did? And whoever it was said, yeah, he won. So I go over to the trailer. Of course, my daughter at that time had 2 kids were there, and Bud and his dad and everybody. And I says, wow, I said, you had a heck of a run, Bud. Congratulations. And my daughter right in front of everybody goes, okay, Dad, who told you he won? Because I know damn well you didn't pay attention. And I said, well, so-and-so told me. I said, but it was a hell of a run. I normally watch the runs pretty much to tell how the track's doing, how the sled's doing, how my setting's doing. But once I got a sled set, that pull will run itself, That's the hardest part of being a competition director, is setting the sled where you get a great distance for the crowd and a good run for the competitor. That's always been my challenge. And always been fortunate to work with awful lot of good sled operators. One that called me this morning out of the blue and I hadn't spoke to for quite a while was Wesley Simpson. He called me. Well, I guess I did talk to him, Jason, down at Sullivan's charity pool. Anyway, he called me and he said, hey, he said, I can see you got a new job. And I went, well, yeah. He goes, well, congratulations. I says, well, I hope I do them okay. Oh, you will, Larry. Just be yourself. And I said, have you ever known me to be anything else? He went, no, you'll be fine. So, but yeah. Only thing I told Jonathan is I've seen pictures from your banquet. You guys wear tuxedos and stuff. I said, I'll just be a fat guy in a sport coat. And he goes, I don't care what you wear. I said, good.
That's awesome.
What did you say? A fat guy in a what, Larry?
A fat guy in a sport coat. Yeah.
Like Chris Farley living in a van down by the river?
Well, that was a fat guy in a little coat. Yeah.
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 I live in a van down by the river.
Housekeeping, you want me to fluff pillow? That's a lot of God. Leave me alone. I'm sleeping. Yeah. But no, I have to admit it's been a great day. We broke the internet and let the haters come hate. I'm sorry, but if they already hate Larry, then they'll get used to it. And if they don't, give me a chance and I'll prove them wrong.
Yes, sir.
So.
Exciting day for Larry, but based on what I've seen, on the feedback I've been looking at on Facebook and whatnot, very, very exciting day for PPL too. Very big day for him. So
I hope that. I hope I can bring something to the table to help them, help the sport. But I mean, seriously, I heard from track builders, sled operators, promoters, pullers, and a few fans, wow, Larry, never expected that move. And the guy that I said was a hater, all he said was, wow, disappointed. I mean, but everybody knew what he meant if they knew him and knew me, but what do you do, So
smile.
But,
Are there any teams you haven't worked with before that you're looking forward to checking them out? And I'm even trying to rack my brain, but it seems like outside the 4-wheel drive trucks, PPL and NTPA cross over so well that, at this point, and when you're in the world of pulling, you've probably met about everyone that there is to meet. So
I would like to think I have. I mean, I can't think of any division I haven't worked with as a division. or the pullers haven't worked with. I mean, Russell Counts, which is the president now of the Mid-South Pullers, a PPL a state level class or a state level club. He called me a while ago before we went on the air.
That's
And
Mid-South, right, Larry?
Yes, Mid-South, and Russell Counts, and he's the president now. And he called me and welcomed me and said, everybody thought, well, how are you going to get along with Richwine? Well, he says, I worked with Richwine before, we'll be fine. And he made comment that a lot of people didn't think that John, Mears and Richwine got along. Well, Jonathan and I have talked and shared notes and compared notes for several years. And of course, we worked together physically at the farm show, doing the fuel and the testing and the drawbars and stuff, and helping, counsel them if they had questions on what NTPA would do. And so John Mears and I have never, honestly, ever had a disagreement to my knowledge. Maybe he remembers one, but I don't. But bottom line is, it's been a good working relationship, and all it is now it's official. We're working together. So, but I don't have any hard feelings or malice with NTPA. I mean, that was then, and this is now. That's all I can say.
Said
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I let everybody go tonight, I want to talk about my week at the North Carolina State Fair with Full Pull. Thank you to everybody. We got a whole bunch of new people using the Full Pull app now. We had a good time. It was supposed to be 4 sessions. Shout out to Chad Mackey of the Red Dirt crew. That's a different kind of red dirt that I'm going to see November 3rd and 4th in White Plains, Georgia. It doesn't have the clay, or it doesn't have the stickiness, Larry. I don't know the Jim Miller term or the Chad Mackey term, but Chad tried to explain it to me a little bit. But it just doesn't stick together like the Georgia clay, like the Georgia red dirt does. It's just a little different. It's harder to get going, but they built a good track.
Did he use the word adhesion?
Yes, he did. He did. And but they did a nice show. Supposed to have 4 sessions. Friday night went on, beautiful, nice crowd, and then Saturday during the day we woke up to rain, and it rained until about 4 o'clock, and then they is it Marvin? I think is the head guy of the United Pullers of the Carolinas. Big guy, Big Marvin. I can't think of his last name.
You mean Nikki Freeman?
Maybe. I don't remember.
I think Nikki Freeman's their head official now, I believe.
Okay. I feel like Marvin's our president. Marvin, is it McDonald? Would it be Marvin McDonald?
Oh, him and his brother both got super farms. Oh,
yeah.
It's
McDonald.
It's McDonald. I don't know. Is it Marvin his first name?
I think it is.
Sorry. I'm sorry if he's white.
But that's okay. They got together with Jeremy Tyndall and all the guys, and they basically, merged the hooks into Saturday night and Sunday, split the hooks up. So it was an even show. We had 8 classes Saturday night and then 7 classes on Sunday, and they put a nice show on. And the crowd Saturday night wasn't as big as they've had in the past, but it was cold and it was rainy. It kind of sprinkled on us a few times during the show. So I know that they came through. Yeah, Marvin McDonald's president. Yeah, Jeremy Tyndall's watching right now.
Yeah.
Great guy, great people. I got to work with them in Lumberton with Full Pull about a month ago, and then they invited us to come to North Carolina State Fair, and we really had a lot of fun with Full Pull. The mini rod games got a lot of action. Jeff Hurt was there, Mary Kale, Kevin Campbell, Cody Singletary. So Kevin Campbell bought Loud and Mini from RJ Simon, and first time gets out and puts 20 feet on the class. Well, Jeff Hurt didn't like that. He did a little change in, and he got him back on Saturday. But if you guys don't know Jeff Hurt, he will help anybody in any time in any class. I posted a video. Cody Singletary had a couple loose fuel lines. First hook, the mini rod class Saturday night. He got out of it right away. And Jeff Hurt, Dennis Miller, and Kevin Campbell, and people I don't even know. I mean, 7 or 8 of them. And Larry, you've seen this a bajillion times in your life.
Oh, yeah.
They'll help to get their fellow competitor down the track. And they still want to beat them, but they want to beat them fair and square. So that's fun.
Right.
It's fun to do that. So
that's what's always impressed me with the sport is that, I was just a snot-nosed kid in my first supercharged engine, which was probably 77, 76.
Yeah.
And I lost a blower. And Bruce Hutchison, who between him and Wayne Sullivan and Gail Medford were my idols. Mm-hmm. And I was just some snot-nosed kid with a Cockshut 40 and a supercharged big block Chevrolet. And Bruce said, well, you need a supercharger? And I went, well, yes, sir, I do. He goes, well, I got one in here spare. And I said, oh, I couldn't do that. He goes, oh, yeah. He says, you take it and you get yours fixed and then give it back to me. And I said, Mr. Hutchinson, he goes, my name is Bruce. He says, take this damn charger, put it on your tractor and run. Get yours fixed, which I sent it in immediately. And I don't know, I probably had it 3 or 4 runs. And I said, done with your charger. You want me to get it restripped? No, it was my spare. I says, well, let me buy it. No, let me pay you. Oh, no. If you need it again, let me know, Larry. But you heard me tell the Wayne Sullivan story, Jason. Well,
Yeah.
Bruce he treated me the same way. And I'm so fortunate to have people like that in my life. I guess they were mentors, Mike. But the Ralph Banners, the Dave Banners, the Bruce Hutchison, Wayne Sullivan, those big names from that era. Basically, I was that redheaded snot-nosed kid, but they all helped me, and they're all responsible for what I'm starting to do again. So, I've been very, very, very blessed.
But no, I'm very impressed with United Polar Carolinas. Their announcer, Bert Forbes, is awesome.
Yeah,
knows those guys. So easy to work with. Really allowed me to talk about full pull and just really bring like a different aspect to working with him. He's just great. He does nice sled presentations. He talks about the dirt. Just does a really good job. I was impressed with everything I saw. That little light 4-wheel drive truck class they have out there, 118-inch wheelbase, 500 cubic inch, I think, and they went 4,000 pounds. Man, that's a fun little class. It was fun to watch them. They got some good super farms. They got a pro farm class, a 466 with a 3x3 box charger. It's a Borg Warner, whatever, however you say that, turbo charger on there. So mini rods, 2-wheelers, the mods. Got to see the great Don Dean this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Craig Sage, owner of SCS Gearbox, has a brand new modified. Friday night tried to make it really exciting. He got going right and he let out of it and straightened out. Then he hammered it again and pulled the hitch right out the back of that tractor.
He did the same thing. He did the same thing at Georgetown, only he didn't break the drawbar. I'm pretty sure he wounded it at Georgetown. He was going out of bounds at Georgetown, got out of it and hit it again. And it probably cracked it there, but you could actually hear it snap on the video you guys were playing. You could hear it pop if you listen as closely as I did at North Carolina State Fair. But yeah, he's learning. But you know,
and Saturday night, well, they took it to Shelton's in New London, North Carolina, 2 hours away. Jeff and Kevin Campbell and all those guys worked on it all day. They got back Saturday night about midnight, and Sunday, Jeff and them, they put a little more weight on the front end and just made a good straight pass. And old Scott Tedder went like 385. Just laid one out perfect, just picked it off the starting line and from just never stopped. It was awesome. Don Dean, I think one of his turbines went out going down the track, and then Sharon Everman was there. I got to see Henry, Dave, and Sharon. Henry had a really bad pass with the diesel ran really good Friday night, and Sunday it puked everything out, all the oil and parts and but it was a good pull. And that state fair crowd's a different pulling crowd. And Larry, you know this, and Mike, you might, but it's not necessarily the diehard pulling.
Right.
You know, when I said how many first time pulling fans are here, I'm telling you, Sunday there was 30% of that crowd, and they said they'd never been to a pull before.
Anytime you're at a fair as opposed to a standalone event, you catch as many crossovers, and then you try to hook them and say, hey, keep watching this stuff. No doubt about it.
That's when you explain even harder what's going on the track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly what we did. We talked about everything.
Well, when you go to a fair, one night they've got a country western star, the next night they got a monster truck or a motocross. And that particular time it was tractor pull. And what are we going to do tonight, honey, at the fair? Well, we're going to go watch entertainment. Well, what is it tonight? It's truck and tractor pulling. So you're very correct, Mike. That's how we attain new fans, is because they happen to attend one. So.
Well, I thought Doug Borth went to sleep. I'm an Iowa Hawkeye fan, and I live in Wisconsin. So I enjoyed that 15-6 score. So all day, all the Wisconsin fans, you guys, you only beat us by 9, or we suck. And I just want to.
Hey, why didn't you share that on Facebook? I would have thought maybe you would have shared that a few times on Facebook by now.
Oh, I'm going to post it every day.
Every time I open my phone thinks that I'm like a follower of Big Ten sports now because you shared it so much.
And then Doug comes back with, the girl, that Caitlin Kendrick or whatever, the really good player for the Iowa Hawkeye women's basketball
Caitlin
team.
Clark.
Yeah, I went through many years of Wisconsin just kicking our ass and everything. So when Iowa actually gets a win, I'm gonna do a little slow clap. So, but Full Pull needed me in North Carolina more than I needed to be there, and rub my buddy Doug Bort's back, tell him I love him still, and give him a big hug.
Well, God love you. Bless your heart, Jason. And I'm sure the fine folks of Full Pull and all the truck and tractor pull fans out there appreciate the sacrifice you make. And if I had an award here, I would give you a laurel and hearty handshake and present this award. Oh hell, let's get this windshield scraper that I may or may not have been taking NTPA stickers off my equipment. Let's take this. And let's present this to you as a token of our appreciation for your fine work and good conduct upon our behalf, in hopes of the many years to come of your gracious presence with us and helping us to further and let's grow pulling the sport of truck and tractor pulling. I mean,
Larry,
I'm glad somebody
I
wrote
just
that
got
down.
goosebumps.
And
I
that's
did,
not a-
Larry.
That's
Larry,
not
that
a
came-
quiet clap. That's a goat. That's a golf clap. That's a golf clap. Golf clap. Yeah.
Larry, that came from the heart. I mean, I almost, if I was capable of a moment of silence, Larry, I might give you one. I'm just gonna
You
say.
know what? I have honestly probably never, maybe it's a lie, had that presentation before given to me, or I had to give it to it. Fun story about Florida. I get to Florida like second or third year. I went down to announce it, and the guy that was the promoter, not the one that's there now. Anyway, he goes, "We need you to present this plaque to Old Bill." Well, Old Bill had been the announcer for so long. He actually announced that pull years and years and years and years and years ago when I pulled there, when I had hair. Because he said, "Richwine, did you have a tractor called the Weekender?" And I went, "Yes, sir." "Oh, you pulled here before?" I said, "No, I never." He goes, "Yeah, you did. It didn't have a roof over it in Ocala." Anyway, I said, "Oh, okay." He knew me. Anyway, so they said, "Here's this plaque. We want you to give it to Old Bill. And we're going to go out middle of the track because some Jeep dealer had sponsored the event. They're going to take you out there in a Jeep, and they're going to, you and Old Bill, and you're going to say on the microphone, 'Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present this plaque in appreciation for his retirement, Old Bill.'" So anyway, Old Bill's retiring. They never told Old Bill. Anyway, so they give me the plaque and I read it and I say, "Well, this is Old Bill." He goes, "Yeah." I said, and jokingly, sarcastically, in typical Larry fashion, I said, "Does he know he's retiring?" And the guy said, "No." And I looked at him like, "What the heck did you just say?" And he said, "No." And I said, "You got to be shitting me. I'm going in front of all these people in the middle of the arena with a sold out crowd. 'Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present this plaque to Old Bill and hope he has a friendly retirement.'" And so anyway, on the way out there, while we're in the Jeep, I said, "Hey, Bill, I got to tell you something. I'm supposed to give you this plaque." And I handed it to him, and he read it, and he went, "I didn't know I was retiring." And I went, "I didn't either till 5 minutes ago when I sarcastically asked if you knew." He goes, "Well, son of a bitch." And I said, so anyway, I give it to him. And on the way back in the Jeep off the track, I said, "By the way, tonight I'm supposed to work with you, but I ain't going to say a damn word unless you say, 'Larry, why don't you read our sponsors?'" So, but yeah, and that was the last time Old Bill announced it, and I've done it ever since. But yeah, you never know when you're announcing something, what people will hand you, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Why don't you retire Old Bill? Nobody told him, but he's.
Yeah, that put old Larry in an uncomfortable situation there for a
Pickle.
second.
Well, you know, that's where I first downloaded the national anthem too. They said, "We don't have a national anthem singer." I went, "All right. Can you?" I said, "You want me to sing it?" And the guy went, "Can you sing?" I went, "No." And he goes, "Well, what are we going to do?" I said, "Give me 5 seconds." And so I downloaded the national anthem, and I still have it today. But yeah, I did. You know, what do? You
That's
know how
funny.
it is, Jason. You know how
I
it is,
do.
Mike.
North Carolina has a very strong light pro class. Yes, they do, Brent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Power Hound. So Ron Kendall and Hunter Beasley all have light pros, and then I'm trying to think of all the light pros that were out there, but they had 5 or 6 each night, and they were hard runners. And then
Yeah.
the Brianna Beasley would be, I think, Kendall's daughter. I'm trying to remember all this, guys. She drove her pro farm, I think, for the 3rd or 4th time. So she did a good job too. So it's fun to see the kids come along and do all that as well. So they do a nice job. Haas is another one of the light pros. Yep. Jeremy Tyndall's checking in.
Jeremy knows all that stuff. He's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to UPOC.
Yes, he is, and he's got cool purple hair too. He does that for one of the for a cancer recognition thing. Him and Brett were talking about that. So smoking up a storm. Yep.
Yeah.
But I had a great time. Thank you, North Carolina. I did try the Krispy Kreme bacon cheeseburger sandwich as well. There was 2 Krispy Kreme donuts, guys, for the bun, with a hamburger and bacon and cheese in the middle. So that was pretty outstanding, Larry. I'm not gonna lie, Mike.
I've had it. Yeah, been there, done that.
So, holy cow, Brandon Simons chiming in.
Oh wow! All I
Way
got
to
to say
go,
is,
Larry.
Brandon, I know what's wrong with it. Brandon ain't got no gas in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot.
Get me going on Sling Blade movie. Yeah.
Yep. No, that's a trending sound on TikTok. That makes Brandon says laugh out loud.
Yeah. Well, I was saying it long before TikTok took it over, but yeah.
Yes, you were. What about the corn juice? Oh, Nikki Freeman's checking in. That's awesome.
Nikki
Yeah,
can
they
tell
have some-
stories.
They have some mighty fine moonshine down there in North Carolina. It's the real deal. The real deal. So I
One of
thank
the
you for
first
that,
one of the first tech schools I did down there was when one of the officials who now lives in Colorado, his daddy's shop, and of course there's tobacco, area. And I went to their shop to give the tech school, and the banner over the front of the shop said, "Thank you for smoking." Yeah, instead of "Thank you for not smoking." And so consequently, I did the tech school. Of course, I was that damn Yankee, and which I got along with him fine. And
One of them asked me if I was a Yankee too, and they said they'd square me away, but he didn't say it quite as nice as I just said it. You know what I'm saying?
well, anyway, so they're cooking lunch, and barbecuing and stuff, and I walk out, and say, "How's it going, guys?" I'm trying to fit in, which I didn't. And they said, "Hey, you want a sip of this?" And it was clear, and it was in a jar. And I said, "Boy, I don't know. You boys are better men than I am. I better not, But
it was smooth. It was smooth. There was a peach flavored one, and then the clear, and they were good. So.
Well, there ain't enough O's and smooth on that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I liked it. It was delicious. Next up for us, we're going to be about. I met Ledbetter, the famous grandson or son of who? Oh crap! Jeremy squared me out here. Who am I thinking of, Larry?
Ledbetter.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his first name? I can't think of it, Jeremy.
I'm so tired. I've been
I
up.
want to say Lester, but that's not it.
Jeremy, there's about a 15-second delay. Jeremy will pop back in here.
Okay.
Marcel.
Yeah.
Marcel Ledbetter. Yep, that was neat.
Yeah.
And then I met Daryl and Marcel. Oh, we got 2 going on here. So, Rob Foster, not the 4-wheel drive Rob Foster, but the super fan of truck and tractor pulling, lives in North Carolina. He's been coming to Toma for 20 years. So I posted a picture on my personal Facebook page of him and I, and that got a lot of comments. A lot of pullers actually recognized him. That was fun to see that as well. To do that. Daryl Ledbetter is the guy you met. Okay, thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah. It's good to have people respond on Facebook or however they're responding to tell us the facts that we don't know.
Yep. No, I'm with you. This week for us, we're heading to Lufkin, Texas. Outlawpulling.tv will be there. We did beermoneypulling.tv, did drag races, dirt drag races last weekend. Thank you to everybody who subscribed to us last weekend for that. We had a good time. We're going to leave Thursday morning, Mackenzie Chandler and I, and then all the gentlemen from Poland, Texas is going to run a camera for us this weekend as well. Ron Stone will be on the microphone. So they have semi-truck drag racing all day long in Lufkin, Texas, big semi-truck show. Then at night, we have the Outlaws show. We have 3 points classes left down there. 2-wheelers, mods, and 3.0 diesel trucks for the finish out the point season. And then we're also going to have 4x4 Pro Stock trucks and then the 5.0 Pro Stock tractors of the Outlaws. And I think they run some stock semis, or as Larry would say, stock semis after the pull.
No such thing.
Down there. That's a good time. That's for Mission 22. It's called Dragon and Pulling in the Pines. Mission 22 is after 22 veterans kill themselves every day from PTSD and all the nasty stuff after serving our country. And every dollar from this event goes back to Mission 22 to help veterans live a better life. And I'm really excited to go down and be part of that. And then I think I got a week off, and then we're going to Diesels and Dark Corners in White Plains, Georgia, guys. That is a gigantic diesel truck pull with a couple tractor classes, and they'll have 2.6, they'll have 32.6 trucks, 33.0 trucks, probably 10 or 15 3.6 trucks. Usually have 5 or 6 super stock diesel trucks. They run some 4.1 semis and some Pro Farm tractors as well. And they have a little show and shine during the day, but it's fun. I mean, it's a blast. We're going to be down there with beermoneypulling.tv working with them. And then the next week, California, Madera, California for the Golden State Invitational. That's MLM Motorsports, Beer Money Pulling Team. We're a partner with MLM Motorsports in California. We promote all their events for them. So this is their Inderly. I'm going to use that just because everybody knows that's the all-star poll for the NTPA. And this is the Golden State Invitational, 2 years. Yep. Larry, go.
When do I get my ticket to attend that event in California?
Not this year, Larry.
Oh,
But maybe next.
He was having such a great day too.
well, I did an episode of Junkyard Wars out on the West Coast.
Oh, you did? That's right.
That's
You
right.
gotta
I
find
was
that.
the,
Find that.
I was the judge, the fat guy with the gray coveralls on, and went out there, and we went out there to the fairgrounds, and they tested their power pullers, they called them, and I got to see some of the sleds and stuff. And yeah, I'd love to attend an event out there.
Jason Skillen,
Maybe
he's a
my
super
good
fan.
friend Jason will hook me up one of these days, Mike.
Yep. Just keep waiting by the mailbox, Rich Wine.
I've got a lawn chair out there whenever I'm waiting on.
Say that.
I sit in the lawn chair, yeah.
Jason Skillen says the first time I went to Benson, I had both of the moonshine. It's a good stuff. And Rob Foster knows Jason Skillen, so that's good. Talked about that. Brett Schaefer was good listening live, and congrats on the new job, Larry. Holy cow, the Hall of Famers checking in. Mark Peisig, congratulations, Larry.
Well,
That's
it's
right there.
about everybody's checked in today. I think that even knows the name Richwine, but I do appreciate all the congratulations.
No, it's fun. I'm just glad. I'm happy that you're happy.
Oh, I'm tickled to death to be involved again, and like I say, I'm excited about being a part of it.
Yep.
New chapter.
Southern Sweet Tea. Okay, Jeremy, I'm in. That sounds good.
Sweet
to me.
tea.
Sweet
Be
tea.
sweet.
Sweet tea.
Ooh, I'm gonna throw a hat or a name in the hat there. Brandenburg, Kentucky's Southern Sweet Tea. I've tasted some sweet tea. Brandenburg, Kentucky has about the best Southern Sweet Tea I've ever had. So you might have to be some judging going on there.
Shout out to Brent Payne, owner of GMS, of course, awesome tractor puller as well, for coming on the show tonight, being our guest. Doug Borth is in charge of our lineup. So if you have any complaints, 612-802-4447. I repeat, 612-802-4447. We do all that. So bring Larry with you to California, Jason. Uh-oh. There it is.
There you go.
There it is.
All it takes is from Indianapolis International to pick up that ticket and head out. Yeah. When is it?
What do you, let me look quick.
When is it?
November 10th and 11th.
Oh, well, the 11th is the Mid-South banquet, and they promoted it, or the president today said, he said, "You coming down with John and Christy?" I says, "I don't have any idea." So, but actually, that's the weekend that we normally celebrate. My granddaughter, who's, in the wheelchair, doesn't walk or talk, we normally celebrate her birthday and all the other birthdays that are in November. All my grandchildren are farm show babies, and they were all born in November, if you do the math. And their last name's Gattinger, and I love them to death. But my oldest granddaughter, she'll be 17, and we never miss one of those celebrations.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, Doug seriously sets up our guests every Monday night and kind of tells me what to talk about. And then don't forget, then PRI will be down there. So we have a booth with the Outlaws, promoting Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association. We're going to have our new high-tech redneck down there, all cleaned up so Brent Payne can sit on it. And then Brent Payne's going to have their brand new light super stock from GMS. And we're down on the floor where the Colts play, down there by all the toters and stuff like that. So make sure you go down the hallway and come down and check us out on the floor down there. And then January pulls, we got Zellwood, Florida, the Super Pull, January 12th and 13th. And then, of course, the Midwest Winter Nationals, Shipshewana, Indiana, January 11th through 13th. We'll start having Clint Tucker on, and start talking about that more. Probably Clint will he likes usually coming on once harvest is done. He has a little more time to start talking about that. But we're full time. We have been behind that event for years from a promotion standpoint on social media, and we're excited to be part of that. So, Matt or Mike, excuse me, give us your thoughts tonight, and we're gonna let Larry. We'll let Larry wrap it up tonight. But what's going through your mind, Mike, as we sit here October 16th, 2023?
Well, I think there's definitely still some fun pulls going on left to get to. I will say this, if you don't have the Outlaw Pulling app, download that on your phone. You can already see, I was looking at it before we came on, when the drivers register. So I can already look on there right now for Lufkin, Texas, and I can tell you some of the guys who are already going to be there. From a fan's perspective, that's awesome. As that gets closer to showtime, it'll actually list the order. It'll list, who's pulling and when. The results are live. And outlawpulling.tv, I did mention this last week. It's this app. This app is, I wish anything you follow should have an app like this. Outlawpulling.tv. It's the only subscription that I have that I'm fully satisfied with. Friday night's supposed to be date night. I have this creative idea that we're going to be watching Dragging and Pulling in the Pines, and we're going to call that date night. So I don't know if my wife knows that or yet not, but yeah, Texas is 12 hours or Lufkin's 12 hours away. So we're going to be watching that one from home. Diesels and Dark Corners looks awesome. The one out in California is where, if you're a Wayne Purser fan, that's where he pulled it to the circle track last year and had to get out
to the windows, to the walls.
It was all the way out there. But I think the biggest thing is I have revitalized my excitement for PPL. 2014 to 2017, that was kind of all I watched was PPL. And then I kind of got into NTPA. And then this summer was spent, kind of diving into the Outlaws. All three great organizations. I love seeing crossover drivers. I think we see a lot of that since COVID. But I'm excited for Larry and just the prominence that he's going to bring to that organization. And I think we're going to see some really good stuff. You're talking, Jason, how your calendar is already spilling into 2024. 2023 was a massive year of pulling. I feel like this was the first time we were really back on our feet since COVID. This was a big year. A lot of numbers, a lot of people going new places, a lot of people pulling multiple circuits. And I think PPL is going to be not gently knocking on the door, but I think they're going to be kicking it hard. And I think we're going to see a lot of awesome stuff to round out the year at some of these freelance pulls after Lufkin. I shouldn't say freelance, but, independent or not affiliated with the three. And then 2024 is going to be fun. Pulling's fun, guys. Green flags, tight chains, pulling is fun.
Green flags, tight chain. I like that, Michael. That's going to be your.
Sorry,
Larry. Golf.
I coined that at Wisner. That was my catchphrase I was trying to get going at Wisner.
Put that under his name. Green flag and tight chain under his name. Yeah.
Hope Bindle, if you're watching, that's a T-shirt idea. Write that down.
Yep.
Write that down.
That was my sign off at Wisner. I was trying to get going, but yeah, green flags and tight chains and pulling is fun, folks.
That's a catchy phrase. I hope you use that in your announcing because that's
no, it sounds good. Larry just says woohoo, woohoo.
No, Larry would have said woohoo.
Woohoo.
Yeah, you wouldn't think a 314-pound man would say woohoo, but I do, yeah. But
no,
Larry, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for PPL.
Thank you.
That's cool stuff. That's great stuff.
Well, I've said more than enough tonight. I just appreciate all the shout outs on Facebook and congrats. And I hope I can do everybody proud that I'll bring something to the table that they can use and that'll benefit everybody. The whole sport of truck and tractor pulling, there's enough room for 3 or 4 organizations, ladies and gentlemen. There's enough room for all these events, all these sleds. I mean, you think back just 20 years ago, we didn't have a third of the sleds we have nowadays. And that's what caused us not to have as many events as we have nowadays. They weren't available. They couldn't book a sled. They couldn't get a date. But it's evolved into something that it's a hell of a sport. And I want them to come share it with us.
The sleds and sled operators we have right now, that's the biggest thing I've learned since being involved in pulling and announcing. Jason said this earlier. You have no idea how much goes on behind the scenes. That was the first thing I posted up on Facebook after the first show that I did was you don't even realize how much happens. But the biggest thing to me is, you know, a sled is like a great umpire. You know, the less you hear, the better. But that is the cornerstone of a show. And the sleds and sled operators we have now are, I mean, they're incredible. They make the show.
They're top notch
for everybody.
So.
And then one more shout out for Full Pull quick. I want Larry to have the final word still, but we're going to have games in Lufkin, Texas this weekend for the Outlaws. We're going to have games at Diesels and Dark Corners. We're going to have the trailer down there. And then we're also going to have games set up for Madera, California at the Golden State Invitational. So again, I think, you know, it's free. You don't need a credit card. Whatever you heard, you don't need to do that. Just make picks, win cash. And then it's fun. Like for me, I don't know the North Carolina pullers at all. I don't. I mean, I knew the Light Pro guys. I picked Powerhound to win. That's the only pick I got right. And I picked Jeff Hurt to win too. So those are my two gimmies. But it was fun because I didn't know, and I kind of picked by like the names of the tractors and the trucks. That's what I mean. That's what my wife does with the NCAA brackets. Like her favorite mascot, she'll pick somebody to win. You know, it might be a 16 seed, but she likes that Horned Frog or whatever, and she picks it. So it's all good. Larry,
cool.
Sign us off tonight, buddy. That's your day. It's October 16th is Larry Richwine Day. So
well, no, it's not. It's just another day, and I was fortunate enough to be honored in several different ways. And really, let's just make it another day, and hopefully, I can fulfill what half the people think I should do. But I'm just glad to be on this show with you guys every week, and I'm having fun doing it. And yeah, someday I'll get better lighting, but in the meantime, this one side is just brighter than the other side. That's all you're going to have to deal with. But you know, hey, this is the bright side of Larry's brain, and the other side is the side that, you know, this is the side that catches all the praise, and this is the side where the guy was disappointed. Okay, anyway. And you know who you are, Weedy. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. But seriously, I'm very, very blessed and proud to be a part of you guys' show.
Having you on, Larry, having you on this podcast is awesome because the knowledge and the wealth of knowledge you bring to people you've met over the years. Thank you for doing this every Monday.
Well, you'll get tired of it someday, trust me. And I'm still standing by the mailbox or sitting in the lawn chair waiting on that check. I don't know.
I swear I mailed that before I left the. Let me. You know what? If I'll wait for it to get returned and then I'll send another one later.
Okay. All right. Well, just remember, I presented you with a very prestigious award tonight and a laurel and hearty handshake. So other than that, guys, just have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday. And hope and pray everybody has a good week.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let's Grow Pulling. Have a good night.